very much value out of Aurora. I'd really like to see her play more of a core role and less of a stats for everybody or damage for everybody build. I mean, especially if that's a support Lina, and it might be. If it's a support Lina, then Drow should just play for herself, I think. And in that case, her aura really doesn't scale very well. Every additional point only gives her like 7% damage bonus. If that's not going to your whole team, I think she should go for a Max Frost Arrows build, and we saw Frev do that. I think 2 days ago now. They go for an Invoker, so now they have 3 range heroes. We'll probably still see him go for that, but I assume it is a support Lina.
Yeah, pretty much has to be at this point.
I don't think I could see Sunby doing a support or a offlaner.
Now, when we've seen Jerex on his support Lina, he does transition into a bit of a core later on in the game, especially if the games last long enough for that to happen. And he plays it really well, so I like that they have got a bit of an option there. Witch Doctor, of course, same type of hero that he can be very valuable in terms of late game if he gets enough farm, which I'm expecting MVP Phoenix to give him, to be honest, especially if they're going to try to fight a lot with Spirit Breaker early on. One more hero left for them. What are we expecting here for MVP Phoenix?
Well,
They've still got a minute left.
Certainly a QO hero. TA's already been banned out. Ember Spirit, one of the classics that they like to pick up.
Storm as well.
And Storm, yeah.
I don't
so the big three.
Think Ember's good against Drow.
Ember's not good against Drow. It's probably a Coswex Invoker as well, so you're looking at Tornado to dispel the Flame Guard and probably an Orchid coming out. So
that's a good point.
I think Ember's off the table.
Maybe Storm also quite risky with the EMP from Invoker?
Potentially, yeah. In terms of other lockdown, MVP Phoenix are decent as well with the Earthshaker, so that could get a little bit difficult. We'll just have to see what they go for. How do you guys feel about this Invoker pickup? Personally, I like the hero, but I feel like he hasn't been very successful this patch or across any of the qualifier games that I've really seen him in. I've seen a lot of Coswex Invoker. He runs around, he gets maybe 1 or 2 kills. Often gets to his Orchid, but just never manages to get any of the solo pickoffs that we're kind of used to, and then just falls flat on his face once the mid to late game starts dragging around and BKBs start coming up.
I feel like on paper he should be good this patch, but I know his win rate is sub 50. I can't recall the number off the top of my head, but it's pretty low. And here they go with the Slark final pick for QO.
I like
classic there.
I like the EMP versus Phoenix's lineup. They have a lot of heroes that are really vulnerable with it, and to make matters even better, they have anti-mobility abilities, which is Fissure and Clockwork. So if you got to worry about EMP, and you got to worry about a Clockwork, hookshotting and cogging in, and you got to worry about Fissures, I feel like they can maybe really utilize that, because a good EMP in a few fights could definitely win them fights, or at least force a disengage. And that might be a tactical position. They get a tower, or they get kills as well. So maybe it'll work, but I think I agree it's maybe not going to work out.
Especially with MVP Phoenix, we know that they want to fight early, so all the heroes you just mentioned are just basically there to make sure that MVP Phoenix can't fight that early. So it seems like MVP Hot6 should be able to force MVP Phoenix to play their game rather than vice versa, which we have seen thus far. So I kind of like the draft of MVP Hot6. If I were to pick a favorite Hot6 based upon draft, it is very geared towards fighting MVP Phoenix, or at least fighting it.
MVP still have so much sustainability, though, not only in just their 2 supports, but also Slark has a lot of sustainability of his own, and I worry that they don't have too much to quite deal with that. I guess a lot of burst damage coming out from the Lina, but we'll see how it comes out.
We'll indeed see how it comes out. It is MVP Phoenix versus MVP Hot6 Winners Bracket Finals TI5 Southeast Asian Qualifiers, and time for the game with Baseskip and Zayori.
All right.
Let's go.
Mr. Baseskip, let's go indeed. This should be a good series. Just game 1 of a best of 3, and this is the winner bracket winner bracket. So, of course, the winner of this will be going to Seattle in some form for TI5, whether it's to the wild card or to the actual main event, but very exciting for both teams. Which draft do you favor here?
I think I personally favor the MVP lineup a little bit. They've got the Slark and the...
No way, MVP, huh?
The Phoenix, sorry, what am I doing? You're right. The MVP Phoenix lineup.
This is going to be tricky, and especially since they're both tagged as MVP at the top.
That's just what you look at by default is when you're casting. So, okay, so
Hot6,
Phoenix and Hot6.
Yeah, Hot6 on the Radiant, Phoenix on the Dire.
Yeah, might just end up using Radiant and Dire a decent amount, but I think I favor the Phoenix lineup overall. I like the Slark pickup. It doesn't look like he's going to get punished too heavily in the lanes, and that's kind of the one place that you're a little bit worried for the Slark. And I feel like the Drow Ranger should be dealt with decently, but it is pretty close. It just looks like MVP Phoenix are very comfortable. And we talked about the Witch Doctor and the Dazzle in the draft, and they've got both of them here. So I think the support play is going to end up being a pretty big deal.
Yeah, most definitely. Early runes will just be split. Both sides will stay fairly defensive. Slark as well as the Invoker grab the initial bounties. Looks like for the Radiant side here, it'll be the off-lane Clockwork, mid-lane Invoker, and really nothing too crazy about this lane setup with a safe lane try. A lot of killing power there, and well, Dire side seems to be doing pretty much the same. Spirit Breaker in the off-lane. They will have one stationed up in the mid, ready to snipe that courier. Q will be here on the Slark, and Febby trying to grab that little chicken, but good pathing from Hot6, and it will not get picked off quite yet, at least.
But it's pathing back
just
directly.
as I say that, oh my.
Febby's going to see. I think he's got it.
Easy. No way to upgrade that one, and that's courier kill. So Phoenix get a minor victory here to get things started. 16 lucky viewers enjoying that one.
Yeah, at least Invoker got his extra pack of tangos delivered, so he's looking all right there, but it looks like Phoenix just want to put a ton of pressure on MP here on the mid lane. There's already a charge coming in, level 1 from March, and then an immediate pause.
Okay.
For KP on the...
So Shadow Wave leveled up on the Dazzle already. QO is level 2.
He can land this pounce.
Pounce and Exon's shift, yeah.
And then once they pounce, they just...
Heal bomb.
They can nuke.
I'm curious how deep they'll go for this. I think this is just a play to pressure the Invoker, knowing that the Courier's dead now to limit what he can ferry out. Pounce will just barely connect. Febby coming in. Doesn't drop the heal quite yet. TP rotation from Heen. They'll try to turn around onto March. Heal from the Dazzle. Will pick him back up, and now the Fissure block out. QO in a bit of trouble here. Still 10 seconds before the pounce. Light Striker Ray will be on the mark. This could well be your first blood. Auto attacks coming to plenty, but he works his way through the trees. They'll get him. It's the Invoker. Hit, and he'll find that bonus gold as the first blood is drawn.
It looked like Hot6 really knew exactly what Phoenix were going to kind of go for here in the early game. Again, they're sister teams. They've kind of played against each other a lot.
They're brother teams, Cameron. Come on now.
Whatever you want to call it. But the Lina carrying a TP scroll that early into the game does really suggest that he had a read on the fact that, okay, look, we know Phoenix. They're going to do something crazy. They're going to try and put some pressure on our Invoker. And they were more than ready to counter that. Earthshaker rotated over into position, leaning with a TP march.
Oh, we'll block out here. They force out the charge, but that's nice. To force a charge like that, they know he's out of mana. It'll be on cooldown, and they'll still try to contest this rune, and he picks up a haste, knocks off Jerax's clarity, and we'll be able to head back to safety. Up top, Dazzle will grab the bounty rune, so MVP Phoenix securing a bit of rune control, at least early on.
Yeah, the Clockwork is doing decently in offlane. Sunby getting some farm going for himself, but is getting harassed down pretty heavily by the Lesh. Still has a bit of regen left. He opted to just block out the pull through camp here and get a little bit of vision down into the river with the ward that he's placed. So not the best information in terms of keeping tabs on what the supports are up to. And that does mean that he has to play a little bit further forward to try and scout them, and that's a little bit riskier. So we'll have to see how that works out. MVP Phoenix, they don't have the best ganking supports in the world necessarily, so I think that also influences the decision that you're like, oh, okay, even if I can't really see the supports, I've got a decent idea that they're likely just stacking and farming the jungle at most points this game. So they probably aren't too worried about the Invoker getting pressured mid, at least from the support angle. The Spirit Breaker could be a totally different story.
Yeah, and since that first gank for MVP Phoenix failed, I think they'll be a little more quiet in the next 3 to 5 minutes or so, and then we'll see that first group up begin around the healing of their supports once they get a few levels on them. QO will take a cold snap in the mid lane here. Nothing Dark Pact can't solve, and he'll be just fine. Meanwhile, in the top lane, though, MVP Phoenix getting close to the tower, and this is where they've got the sustainability. No Edict in the Lesh, going for a pretty standard build here, but they're going to shove forward and try and pressure this tower a little earlier than expected, which will be good news for Sunby as he's already level 3 and will get a bit more XP out of this push. And there's that stat you were talking about, Base Kip, with Nuts. 7-0 on the Witch Doctor. How about these Nuts?
Yeah, and the KDA as well is something ridiculous to look at. I think he, averaged 5, 2, and 11 on a Witch Doctor.
That's nuts.
Often does... Exactly, that is nuts. Getting a well played there, but anyway. So as a Witch Doctor, you know, often the 5 position support, it can be a little bit difficult. Sunby. How early did that Maledict come? I think he's dead from the Maledict.
I think so too. It's going to be close. Oh, he's definitely dead. Yeah, no Tango, no way to regen up.
Yeah, okay.
That was pretty close. 60 damage, more than enough. So that'll be a kill on the Clockwork. Gets MVP Phoenix on the board. Nice little pick off there. Of course, Witch Doctor getting the last hit.
If he had a salve instead of a mango, I think he lives there because he could have just popped it in between one of the early ticks. But
even if he just had a tango instead of the mango, if he had eaten it right away, it might have just been enough.
Yeah. So the mango not going to save him there, but Sunbee's still going to hang on to that one for now. He's about to reach his level 4, so Phoenix have lost control of this top lane once or twice, I think because of the pull-through camp being blocked out. And that has given some extra experience to the Clock. Doesn't have a ton of CS to work with, but he just wants to grab his level 6 and go and try and get things done. The unfortunate thing for him is that even once he gets his level 6, finding ganks might be somewhat difficult. The Dazzle's definitely going to be carrying a TP for pretty much all of the early to mid game, and he's already got one picked up right now. And Slark and Spiritbreaker are both fairly difficult to gank to begin with. So I really like the Phoenix decision to put the Lesh up on the safe lane and keep him out of harm's way, because if he'd been over at mid, I think you'd definitely see Hot6 rotating with the Lina and the Earthshaker, Tornado into a Fissure, into a Light Striker, and there's absolutely no chance.
Here we go. Pressure on that tier 1 tower down bottom. They'll jump onto March. Shallow Grave comes out from Febby. That'll buy him some time, but now the Gust keeps him silenced, and they'll get the kill there. Cask bouncing around, slowing down Hot6, so they've already taken out the tower. Lesh rotates. Split Earth will connect. Forev will be the first to fall on the Radiant side. Nuts just barely lives, and now the TPs from MVP Hot6 will get them out. So a 1-for-1 down bottom. They will grab the tower kill as well.
And meanwhile, was that a solo kill on mid? Looks like
I think so.
MP just picking up QO there.
Yeah, not sure exactly what happened, but we'll find a solo kill. That's great news for Hot6. Meanwhile, up top, March as well as Sunbee going blow for blow. The Battery Assault doing some fair damage here at the space count. He knows his limits, and he'll be just fine. I wanted to comment on that Drill Ranger build as well. A 1-1-3 at level 5, a bit different from what we've been seeing. Most Drill Rangers going for that more stats-based type build with a singleton point in the Precision Aura.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to tip the mid lane as much as he possibly can to make sure that the Invoker gets a good start, because that's what we were talking about during the draft, that this Invoker can be a little bit of a gamble. The early game goes decently, but doesn't continue to really progress from there and starts falling off once the BKBs come up. So I think they're hoping to he's hoping to make sure that the Invoker gets as much CS as he possibly can, and that he can pick up his Orchid relatively quickly and start running around and solo killing these supports that have been so important for the Phoenix side.
Well, he's definitely taking over the mid lane now. That extra 28 damage making things a lot easier. 2-0-0. That'll help, but now winning the CS battle. Tornado EMP. QO will be able to pounce back to safety and dodges the EMP, but the CS disparity is growing quite a bit. You look at the net worth chart, Invoker nearly doubling the Slark at this stage of the game, and both defensive supports will rotate into the mid lane and see if they can change what's happening here.
Yeah, but it looks like deciding that they're, well, this is not the best opportunity from the angle that they were going for. There's a pounce down into the river. QO, what's he going for here?
He wants the ward up on the high ground, but it's going to come at a grave cost. A lot of his HP, but now he'll get healed up by the supports.
Great tornado.
Yep, and the EMP will connect on all three. Grave comes out onto QO, but the Earthshaker's there. One more auto attack. Can they catch him? No, the Earth, or Split Earth rather, catches both. Now KP finishes off the Invoker. A lot of back and forth, but it is MVP Phoenix that come out ahead. Close call for the Slark, but he does make it away, and that's the power of those defensive supports that the Dire side have.
Extremely clutch Split Earth from KP coming in there as well, and just also showing off how important. We've been talking about it over the course of this qualifier, that in this patch, as the one position player, you need to be carrying a TP. You need to know when to come and join your team and participate, and that was exactly the perfect time for KP.
Charge onto Jerax. He's already low thanks to a pounce from QO, and that'll set up an easy one for the Slark. MVP Phoenix getting some good momentum here. March trying to TP home, and oh, Heen, you're going to regret TPing into this one. We'll connect with an LSA, but will die to the heal of the Dazzle. Now on the other side of the fight, Chaos is breaking out as an EMP helps set up the kill on the Dazzle. Or pardon me, the Witch Doctor. Lesh already in the grave as they turn around on the Clockwork. Now QO just trying to make the escape, and it looks like he'll be successful on that front. A pretty even exchange here, but a lot of rotations. Even the Drow Ranger coming out of the bottom lane to join the mid.
Yeah, but this is what always seems to happen with MVP Phoenix. They get the one little pick off, and they've got the sustain to just keep on diving, keep on going. I mean, the tier 1 tower mid lane, it's low, but Phoenix were diving all the way into
past the
into tier 2s. Yeah, but QO back, feeling nice and safe, backed up by Febby, is going to be able to get out. He was even looking to turn around there, sort of got up into the fog on the high ground, realized there's no ward here, I can bottle, I can get my heal off of my ultimate, and actually even still had his ultimate available, so I don't think he was really at risk at any point.
So MP, what does he have in the way of item progression here? Yep, just going straight into the Orchid. Pretty standard build for your Quasplex Invoker. You talked about that style of just hunting about in the jungle and looking for solo pickoffs, and this could actually be a decent game for it. Dazzle and Witch Doctor, great when they can get their spells going, but if you initiate on them with a Ghost Walk and you can find a kill before Shallow Grave comes out, then these supports can be food. So I think a good game for it here is up top. We'll see a gank attempt get set up. Clockwork does have a hookshot available, but Split Earth will connect. He's already down to about half health. Here we go. Point blank hookshot after the fissure helps set it up. EMP from around the tree line will do some damage, but not enough to keep the Clockwork alive. Dazzle not going to get off the Shallow Grave, and it will cost the Lesh his life. Now Nuts in some trouble as he's cold snap, trying to juke through the trees. He's juking, he's jiving, he almost stays alive. The heals are just enough. He will walk back to safety. Now a charge from the Spirit Breaker onto Jerax. They want to punish this dive, and boy will they. March should be able to connect on this one. Fissure is up, but can't get it off. That cast point just too long. QO comes pouncing in, won't connect, but still sets up the kill, and Earthshaker will end in the grave. Now on the backside of it, they'll chase down MP. Tornado won't connect, or pardon me, MP won't connect with much, but nor will the Pounce. More heroes rotating in as they try to finish it off the Invoker, but Cogs from the Clockwork push back QO. That sets up the kill there. March and Febby on the run. It seems Hot6 have the reinforcement advantage here, but another beautiful split earth from KP. He's got the Pulse Nova on. He'll chase down the Invoker, finds the kill there. Now another charge in, but it's the Drow Ranger that joins the party. Gust pushes him back, and again, it's the Dire Side on the back foot, but Nuts is here. Cask bouncing around like crazy. Another brilliant split earth, even though Hadouken flies through. Nuts barely gets graved in time. They get the kill on the Clockwork. Another Gust pushes back KP. A few more auto attacks. They might find it, and they do. Now a Fissure on two. Blocks out Febby, but the Cask! It's bouncing around. It'll keep Febby alive. Witch Doctor gets the kill on Lina with the DOT. Oh my gosh. Base kip. What is going on?
That was an absolute bloodbath on top lane. I was like, okay, they're finally going to disengage now. That's the last kill. Never mind. More TPs, more split earths. Great play from KP, and I think the MVP Phoenix support's also playing that fantastically. MP got a few nice little plays in there as well. Got the Tornado on both the Dazzle and the Lesh initially so that the Grave couldn't come out and get KP back to the safety of the tower. Also managed to sidestep out of the way of a Pounce from QO. So MP putting in a ton of work for his team at the moment, but it does end up being a slightly Phoenix-favored fight overall, though only by about 200 gold and like 100 experience.
Now QO is going for the Hand of Midas here on the Slark. Invoker finds him farm in the Radiant jungle, and we'll push him back with an EMP Tornado combo. So the Slark fills up the bottle. Still rune control going the way of the Dire Side as Lesh appears to be going into just that classic Bloodstone style of build. Interesting Ring of Protection pickup though. Wonder what that'll turn into, or pardon me, Ring of Regen.
And he's going to disassemble his Bassi to build his Soul Ring.
Okay,
and
yeah, maybe
that's going to be for the Bloodstone.
Ah, okay, yeah, good call.
Yeah, so
just getting some extra regen for now, filling that inventory slot. I like that.
Yeah.
Maximizing efficiency there.
Just sitting on it. He may have just bought it as well as he was dying top lane just to make sure that he lost less gold, since he's been farming and for that reason has primarily unreliable, I would say.
True, yeah, fair point there. Up top, looks like there could be multiple fights breaking out as QO going for Forev, but Jerax will TP in. LSA connects from the high ground. Dazzle nearby. QO
nice
will
Cogs.
pop the ultimate, but Cogs lock him in place. And yeah, Laguna Blade sets up that kill. Now Febby in some trouble as the point blank hook shot comes out. He should have a Shallow Grave here. Indeed he does, but still on the run. Not yet out of the clear. Lina trying to rotate over. They can't find that last auto attack. Fissure just barely misses, and would have been enough for the kill. Just a dead Slark, but a victory for Hot6 as they've got the superior rotations.
Yeah, and that was such a nice cog. Split Febby away from QO, prevented the Grave from coming out. I think otherwise there's a chance that the Slark survives and it's the Dazzle who goes down end of the day, and I think Febby would have definitely preferred that. One thing to point out, and I think we were looking at this a little bit earlier on the overall net worth, but this Dazzle is doing ridiculously on farm. He's actually nipping at the heels of the Slark right now.
He's level 8. That's
yeah,
absurd for 14 minutes.
Yeah, he has put in a lot of work. And he still hasn't died. He's 2-0-5, top lane action.
Yeah, those cogs really working well here for Sunby. Oh my, Margie, Nether strikes in, but Lina throws out the Dragon Slave, connects on both, and turns it around on the Spirit Breaker. That was kind of an awkward interaction there, the way the Slark was pouncing in right as the cogs came out, and he ended up on the other side of the cogs and got pushed away. Nicely played by the Clockwork, but every so often you see those cogs doing some funky stuff.
Yeah, and I like the way that Hot6 have been playing this. I think the the Invoker got his core levels, and now he's just running around throwing Tornado EMP every single time it's available. And I wonder if maybe that's the concern that I've been having with some of the other Invokers that we've seen, that they, you know, they kind of get these initial levels, they get their combo going, but never really manage to find a whole lot of initial action. And some people only go and start looking for things once they've kind of finished farming up their Orchid, and otherwise they'll just sit on a TP scroll and think, okay, look, I'm farming, and if something breaks out, I'll go and counter-initiate, because of course Quaswex Invoker is fantastic at that. But MP's just been running around like a madman, getting things done, and really putting his team on his back thus far. Also great farm on the Drow. She's been relatively uninterrupted, has only joined a couple of crucial fights, and somewhat greedy build from Forev, but I think it works out just fine here as he goes in for the HOTD. Does he have a creep dominated? He does, in fact. It's over by the Ancients right now.
Hook shot on the nuts, and this one's going to be a little bit rocky. Battery Assault, more than enough damage. Dazzle trying to come over for the Shallow Grave, but can't get there in time. Nice solo pick off for Sunbay. Looks like he's got a Satyr Tormentor and try and stack up some Ancients on the Radiant side. MP up top, they bump into QO. Forev starts it off with a silence, and well, as soon as he cleanses it off, there's another one there with the Orchid. Nice reveal, and Invoker will secure yet another kill. The Handamitis on Slark. I don't know here. It looks like March could be thinking about if Handamitis as well with his casual Gloves of Haste.
Yeah, he does tend to do this a lot on his Spirit Breaker. I think it tends to be his preferred build, but normally the early game goes a little bit better for Phoenix than it has here, and I feel like they're
losing a lot of momentum.
Yeah. Well, the combination of somewhat greedy builds on all three cores is coming to bite them. I mean, if you look at the net worth, it's 4K, but the Slark's Midas is in there as well, so that's not really, you know, an amazing early to mid game item. If you block out the Midas, he's got barely nothing in his inventory. The Lesh is still just working towards his Bloodstone, which, while we've talked about, is an amazing item and very good for farming, but he's still going to need more, and he's still sort of creep focused for the time being. So
here we go.
Punishing that perfectly.
Invisibility rune on the Clockwork, sets it up onto March. He'll get bashed, or it looks like charged right in there. Jerax throws out a Fissure. Febby has the Shallow Grave, but it just buys March a couple of seconds. I think Clockwork should still be able to take him down. Jerax drops the Echo Slam before he falls. Hook shot misses at point blank. Oh, Sunbee, that would have been an easy kill.
They'll be charged soon. Oh, it's up, actually.
And he will charge away. There is a rocket. Maybe he can find it. Ooh. Oh. Nope. Not even going to try. Okay, well, a bit disastrous for MVP Hot6 there. Thinking it would just be a free kill, not quite realizing the Dazzle was nearby. I feel like Febby's positioning this game has just been spot on. There have been so many Shallow Graves that have turned those little exchanges around. Invoker cruising around, though. Ghost Walk on. Orchid at the ready, looking for a pickoff. Sees that little armadillo running around here, and oh, QO. He's in some trouble. Out comes the Cold Snap. Does he actually have the damage to find this kill? I don't think the Soul Burn's going to be enough. And yeah, Dazzle has the Shallow Grave. Tornado pushes him back, but QO will just barely live. Goes into the ultimate form. Shadow Dance buys him some time as he regens up. Pounce will be off the mark. Lena's there. Drops some damage, but Hot6 on the back foot. March goes cruising on in. Finishes off MP. And Lena will fall to the Wrath of Leshrac. So just like down bottom, a 2-for-0 going the other way. What started as possibly a free kill ends up being a disaster for Hot6.
And Spirit Breaker is just such a scary hero as well in these kind of situations where you're off looking for pickoffs in the enemy jungle, comes charging in from the other side of the map. The Hot6 even have amazing vision over here in the dire jungle. They've got a couple of wards around the place. They're keeping tabs on all of the movements through, and that should be setting up for successful picks for the Invoker, but Phoenix also very successful when it comes to dealing with that. I'm going to keep doing it. It's just going to keep happening. Oh, yeah, I think MVP have the lead right now. Andrew, what do you think?
Solid analysis. All tied up. We'll see which MVP comes out big. Double Midas now on the Dire side and the Bloodstone. So all the farming tools completed, and they'll start to make a dent in the net worth chart, also finding some successful kills. The Drow Ranger, though, picks up a BKB. Hookshot comes in, connects on the creeps, and QO happy just to pounce back to safety. But with a BKB on the Drow, perhaps this is when Hot6 start to commence some 5-man action, and charge comes out onto MP to set this up. MVP Phoenix will look for a fight here. All right, Tornado EMP stops the Space Scout dead in his tracks. Gust will be off the mark. KP TP's in. Febby takes a Dragon Slave off to the side, but it's QO in the front lines going straight for Heen. The Death Lord doing huge damage. Lina gets dropped to start this one off. Now Sunbi in some trouble, battling the Slark and the Cogs. Just barely walks away, but now a charge forward. No way to stop it. Oh, but there is. Cold Snap's there. No, not a Cold Snap, but he still gets finished off. Spirit Breaker will get turned on forever with the BKB on. A few more auto attacks will find him, but KP turned by Jerax. A beautiful Echo Slam in the middle of the fray. Still not enough to save the Drow Ranger. So now the cask is bouncing around, just hitting a couple of creeps for now. Nuts on his way back in. Wants to get the Earthshaker, but can't quite do it. Will get isolated by Sunbi and ultimately brought down. EMP does a little bit of work here in the mid as MP and the Ghost Walk trying to keep them low, but oh my! Heal Bomb from Febby brings him low, and he'll be forced to walk away. Hook shot in from Sunbi under the tower. Very bold here, rather ambitious, and it will backfire as he goes down, gives another one to the Leshrac.
Yeah, I really don't know about that hook shot at the very end, but great play from both sides throughout that team fight. QO goes like charging in.
Every team fight has been like that. It's like one side gets a great initiation, then a counter initiation, just keeps going back and forth and ends as a 3 for 3. I mean, Phoenix got the superior net worth gain out of that, but very back and forth. We'll see another charge down bottom. A great LSA from Heen. Turns, puts down the Laguna Blade as well. Forev rotating in. March. Whoa, that was bold. He could have made it out, but turns around. LSA connects again, and that will be the end of him. Space Cow stuck in the grave as Phoenix retreat.
Yeah, they've been dealing with the Spirit Breaker's initiation so nicely, but they've also given themselves the draft tools as well. Nuts now in some trouble, getting auto attack down. Can they save him? Won't be able to, and a silence as well onto QO.
Oh,
gets snapped and right click down. Hot6 bring everyone bottom and get 3 really big kills.
Yeah, that was great. The silence is doing so much there, and that is one of the weaknesses of Slark, both Gust as well as the Orchid. If he's not ready with the Dark Pact to cleanse it off, and we've seen a few times now where he's cleansed one and the other is right there ready to lock him down, and that limits his escape quite a bit. And we still don't see him with any core item outside of the Midas. Pooling towards probably a Blink Dagger, but still not there.
Yeah, I wonder if he's regretting the Midas pickup at all.
I think he has to be.
I mean, I think it'll still work out alright, but he definitely needs more items. A lot of his damage is actually nuke-based at this stage, since he has no real right-click, and the Drow Ranger BKB means that he can't really do a whole lot there. Just being able to pop BKB and keep on running back to your team is fantastic for the Drow. And as we've seen, we were just talking about it, the fact that Hot6 have been dealing with the Spirit Breaker initiation so nicely. Part of that is to do with the fact that the Spirit Breaker is picked up early in the draft for Phoenix. It is a hero that they prioritize quite a bit. Ooh, Jax was looking for that with the totem. But
yeah, only level 1 totem though, so not getting too much extra damage. Nice deny from Nuts. Limiting some income there for Hot6.
But yeah, just between the cogs, between the Fisher, a couple of Light Strike arrays, and the Tornado, it's been very difficult for March to get into these fights. Of course, all that's going to change once he picks up a BKB. And the one nice thing for Phoenix is picking up this double Midas is putting quite a bit of, it's putting a little bit more time pressure over on the Hot6 side. We already talked about how the Drow Ranger lineups are going to fall off and how we were somewhat worried about the Invoker, and I feel like that's potentially just the approach that Phoenix are taking here. We've got Bloodstone Leshrac farming like a madman. We've got double Midas running right now. We're not really that stressed, though. The question is whether or not they're going to be able to hold on to their high ground. The net worth difference is actually still relatively close, I think, compared to the tower difference right now. Looks like Hot6 are up by 2 towers overall.
Yep.
But the Drow's farm is continuing to get better and better, and I think it was a pretty smart call from Forev to go for this Dominator and pick up some additional farm here and there.
Yeah, most definitely. Lina going for probably a Glimmer Cape there with that Shadow Amulet as Hot6 do smoke up around their Ancients. Now, MVP have picked up a few core items here, the biggest one being that Blink Dagger on the Slark. So he is slightly more combat ready, and I feel like you can just really feel the Bloodstone effect on Lesh. His net worth has just been going up and up since he's picked up all that mana regen, and now gets a Yule's Scepter. So, and yet another tool to make things easier for this Dire side. We'll see what this smoke can achieve. Somebody walks right into March, point blank hook shot. They'll drop the Laguna, put him in the cogs, and the Spirit Breaker will get taken out before he can do much at all. Now they see QO in the top lane. He will blink forward, uses his Dark Pact. Thought that may set up an opportunity for Hot6, but instead they head to that tier 2 in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think smart play. They were pinging out the Slark a little bit earlier, I think, so they were actually aiming for a kill on him instead, but realizing exactly the play that Kuro is going to make, which is we just killed the Spear Breaker, he's going to go and split push top lane and prevent us going for the tier 2 there, so let's just swing to mid and grab what is honestly even the more valuable tower overall here as they continue to open things up.
Yep, central access point now with the tier 2 mid and bottom down. Phoenix will have a much more difficult time contesting Roshan or even taking it for themselves in the upcoming moments.
Roshan's down, the Aegis is on.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
upcoming moments.
In the upcoming fight, yeah.
2 minutes left, and they're going to go straight to the high ground here. See what they can do. The Slark is off in the top lane, will TP back to try and mount the defense. Poor Alpha Wolf will get hit by the cask, and 4 HP will go down to the Lesh. That's a minor victory there.
Poor guy. There's still a glyph available for Phoenix, so should be able to hold this out somewhat. Good pressure applied top lane by Kuro. Is going to keep things out somewhat. In terms of the warding, I feel like Hot6 could have found a few more opportunities to place wards over on the Dire side of the map, but if you actually just look at the Dire minimap right now, it is covered in sentry wards. There's just sentries everywhere. Having the Slark factor is making it really easy for them to deny vision to Hot6 right now by breaking up bottom lane.
Yep, Clockwork on the run. We'll be able to survive the initial onslaught, but in comes the charge from March. Death Ward doing some serious work here. Lina will be the first one to go down. Now they get the kill on Clockwork. A fast 2-0 as MP will move into Ghostwalk form, and he heads for the hills, but they've got a dust. The Split Earth will connect. Tornado on the entire team, it feels like. Pounce just barely clips him. Will set up for the charge, and he goes down. Jerax takes a cask, and oh my, Phoenix.
Huge play from Nuts there. The Earthshaker was a fraction of a second away from blinking and echo slamming on 4 heroes that were all trying to kill the Invoker. Might have found 1 or 2 kills, but Nuts just auto attacks him once and cancels the blink dagger and then just find 1 more. So great play there, and
huge burst momentum for this Dire side. 4-0. Aegis still standing on the Drow Ranger, but it's just about to expire. So they're pretty okay with leaving her left alive. They get the tier 1 tower down bottom, and KP will get the last hit on that. So look at that net worth graph, and Lesh is pretty close, or chart rather, but yeah, the graph tells the story very clearly. Lesh almost overtaking the Drow Ranger as #1.
Yeah, and Slark's Midas is continuing to push him up and up and up. The Spirit Breaker, after that fight, almost has his BKB completed. And like we were talking about, once that's up, Hot6 really have no way to deal with the Spirit Breaker's initiation. And I'd say at the moment it's been kind of 50-50 for March. Some of the charges have been successful and gone in and found their targets, and about the other half have been cancelled by one of those abilities that we were talking about. So switching that to 100% with the BKB is going to be a very big deal. Yeah. And I think Hot6, a bit of a disappointment out of this Aegis somewhat. They did manage to go and grab a couple of towers, but didn't end up being able to use it in a team fight, and it only ended up being a tiny bit of siege on the mid lane, only about 350 damage dealt, so...
Yeah, nothing Phoenix will be too upset about. BKB on the Invoker, pretty close here, about 500 gold away. Steps in the right direction for Hot6. And it looks like Earthshaker thinking about a second Glimmer Cape for the team. 1 already up on the Lina, and he's already got that cloak. Probably progression towards his own. I see some drawing on the minimap here. Radiant side, maybe interested in just trying to invade the Dire jungle and stay aggressive. But here, just shy of the 30-minute mark, all tied up 21-21. These two teams feel very evenly matched.
Yeah, definitely. But it does feel like Phoenix are just nickel and diming out the wind right now. Little wins here. They've got the... Yeah, they just get a little bit of extra farm here, here and there. I think the Slark pick has worked wonders for them, really. The Hot6 lineup has really struggled to find all that many kills on him. I get the feeling that Hot6 were also expecting that the Lesh could have potentially been run mid, and we're hoping that their ganking supports, along with the Invoker pick, we're going to be able to put a lot more pressure on there and get more of an advantage going on out of the early game, but Phoenix set their lanes nicely, and as we've also seen, just the extra map control that they're getting off of the Slark ultimate is being really big, since Hot6 want those pickoffs to enable their pushes, but they can't get any vision over on the Dire side whatsoever. So they're pretty blind right now, and it's actually Phoenix with a pretty hefty vision advantage for the time being.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, all the Radiant wards have been taken out. Power of the Slark. So Roshan should be around the corner. Still haven't seen what that RNG timer looks like, so we'll have to continue to be patient here. But Slark pulling up his gold. He's up to about 4.5k now. Pretty curious what QO will move into next.
So I think BKB is still a consideration, but with the way that he opened up his item build, he probably wants to get something for a little bit of right click and just
straight into the Scotty.
Just going to be straight to the Scotty. I think he can get away with this, and Phoenix the pressure is somewhat off.
I think if you have a different support duo, the BKB is a lot more tempting, but you've got Shallow Grave to bail you out, and based on how well Febby's been positioned, I think the Slark
hasn't died.
Yeah, the Slark can pretty much count on that. And then you've got Witch Doctor as well for some extra sustainability. So
I mean, Febby has played a hell of a game thus far.
Yep, and you say he hasn't died, but it's not like he's been avoiding fights. It feels like he's been right there in pretty much every skirmish.
It's not like he's self-graving and TPing out every single time at the first sign of danger. He's saved teammates.
He's barely even used the grave on himself, honestly. It feels like it's always going on somebody else.
Yeah, I feel like it might have only been that one time on the mid lane when he was there trying to save Kyo anyway, but it was just good play from Sunbi, who actually ended up securing that kill. But Drow still finding good farm, but like we've been talking about, it's Slark and Lesh creeping up little by little, and with the map dark, I think MVP Phoenix feel pretty safe to continue grabbing farm.
Yeah.
We were just talking about some item pickups for Hot6. The BKB is now complete for MP. Looks like Forev's just going to be going for a butterfly here, so some extra damage. And there's a 4-staff up on Sunbi, so hitting some pretty big timings, and definitely this is their moment. They've just grabbed kind of 3 big items to participate in these next couple of team fights. Roshan's back up, and I think for them it's going to be trying to establish some wards around the pit, potentially go and find a smoke depending on how confident they're feeling, and then they need to look towards Roshan and keep this momentum going, because the Invoker is already starting to feel like he's starting to hit a wall in terms of he's no longer able to really run around and continue finding pickoffs because they aren't really starving the Phoenix supports at all. They've got tons of sentry wards, plenty of anti-invis, and MP is honestly just too scared at this stage and just sticking with his team.
Witch Doctor making a lot of progress towards that Aghanim Scepter, more than halfway there now with the Ogre Club and Point Booster completed, but there's the biggin, the butterfly on the Drow Ranger, and no tools to cut through that evasion quite yet. MKB, probably something QL will look towards as this game goes on, but still very far away from it, as he's still working on his Scotty, which at this point he's pretty committed to. Oh, never mind. Scotty completed. The rest of it was on the courier. So now if he wants MKB, could be a good hybrid here. Give you some extra damage now that you have the big stats from the Eye of Scotty.
It's actually so important for Hot6 to try and take a fight around wards at this stage, because they're much more reliant, I think, on their initiators, the Clockwork, the Earthshaker, and the Invoker, finding the MVP backline. Because if they don't, QO is just never going to die.
Smoke on smoke action. BKB popped straight away by Forev as QO goes right into the fray. Shadow Dance turned on as he tries to focus down Heem. Glimmer Cape will keep him alive. The rest of MVP Phoenix kind of on the back foot here, but the Death Ward from Nuts doing a lot of damage. The cask bouncing around as well. All the players still alive for now, but Forev getting low. The evasion keeping him up, but in the end he will fall. Decent Echo Slam from Jerax, but I don't think it's enough. Lesh now pulsing all over this fight, and it's MP trying to do what he can to turn it around. Dazzles here, throws out the Poison Touch. QO reinitiating Yules to set up onto MP right into the Split Earth. He'll go down. The Earthshaker barely TPs out, but when it's all said and done, it's the dire side that comes out big. The superior sustainability rings true.
Yeah, that'd be great patience there on the Grave. I mean, QO was able to disengage anyway, but also continues to be fantastic positioning from the Phoenix side overall. Jerax, I think, even just got frustrated towards the end there. He spent the entire fight waiting very patiently, looking for a good Echo Slam. I think he was just hoping for a 2-hero opportunity, but in the end, losing the Drow Ranger kind of forced his hand, and that was already too late at that stage. They missed the free kill on March because he fissured too early on the Tornado, and so didn't end up grabbing that one. So minor misplay as well for Hot6 there. It's going to have a pretty big impact, but
of
Phoenix just schooled them in that fight.
Yep. Now Phoenix get that Aegis of the Immortal. That's Roche number 2, and the Witch Doctor again. We've been complimenting how Nuts has been playing the Witch Doctor, but right in the middle of that fight just drops the Death Ward, but he was able to channel it for a decent duration because that cask was just bouncing around like crazy. Everyone was stunned up. They couldn't interrupt it, and he really got a lot of damage done, and of course healed up his team quite a bit as well with that Voodoo Restoration channeling the entire time.
Yeah. The other thing that Phoenix had going for them there, I think it was nighttime during the fight, and Slark still has enhanced night vision, for I believe, so the fact that the Phoenix supports were able to just hug back towards the camps and stay out of vision, I think that was the biggest thing for Febby, just amazing awareness of the, of the fog and what Hot6 could actually see, and then only really revealed himself when it was necessary, so that he wasn't exposed to the Earthshaker initiation until it was already too late. And, well, it's looking like it might be already too late for Hot6 here, as Phoenix are just getting more aggressive out on the map. The net worth has turned to about a 5k lead in Phoenix's favor, and experience is ridiculous. 10k lead.
And that's the double Midas factor right there.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
Really making a big impact on that front. And 35 minutes in, the early Midases are simply just paying off at this point. MVP Phoenix have not lost anything in terms of high ground, and at this point, they're really feeling the benefits of that greedier laning stage that they went for. Now they'll start or continue the 5-man towards the top lane. Looks like they'll start pressuring some tier 2 towers. All 3 still standing for MVP Hot6 on the Radiant side, and they will start to group up here in the top to take a fight. QO goes straight in onto the clockwork, takes some below. BKB Lesh charges into the front lines as well. MP BKB, but the Pulse Nova doing a lot of damage here. Lesh will end up falling, but no! Shallow Grave comes out, keeps him alive. Clockwork, the first casualty of this fight. He won't have a buyback. The Echo Slam from Jerax sets up a kill on Lesh as well as the Lina. A double kill there, but Lesh coming right back to life as Jerax ends up going down himself. They kill the Space Cow, but they don't have anything left. It's only the Drow Ranger. She's getting dove.
Give him the rampage.
Oh, buyback now from the Earthshaker. Gust comes out, and bada boom, bada bing. Evasions are there, but it's a rampage for QO. Dieback now for the Earthshaker. Also a buyback for the Drow Ranger. No doubt about it, MVP Phoenix come out big on that one. Now, they can't siege the high ground quite yet. They've got a tier 2 to cut down. They'll get it, but boy, oh boy, 3k net worth gain for the Dire, minus 700 for the Radiant with 2 buybacks utilized.
And 1,700 gold for Slark alone. He's now up to 5.3k in his piggy bank, and man, they just can't deal with the Slark anymore. He's claimed the throne, #1 on net worth. And I don't know what Phoenix, what Hot6 can do anymore.
That fight felt like the nail in the coffin. That was just too much, and we talked about how the economy has paid off, and now it's going to be even bigger. Aghanim Scepter up on the Witch Doctor. He's already done huge damage with just the regular Death Ward. Now that it's upgraded, things get a lot more scary. At this point, Slark can just right-click the MKB if that's what he wants, and I can't imagine he'd really want anything else at this stage. Maybe the BKB if he was really feeling like it's a bit too much. I guess Divine Rapier could be an option. Fair point.
He's got enough gold.
But no, I think he can continue to play it safe here.
Yeah,
actually, it goes Basher, so into an Abyssal.
Abyssal Blade. I think that
similar to the MKB. Lots of damage, and will still give him a lot of killing power.
Yeah, it gives him some good lockdown. And I don't even know if the Drow is that much of a problem for him right now. So long as somebody is just staying right up in the Drow's face and making life difficult, then I think that's absolutely all right.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks like that's going to be that Abyssal Blade coming in.
Yep, already
Phoenix
has the relic
with total control of the map. I think the Spirit Breaker almost has an AC. It's actually getting delivered right this second.
Coming out.
He's got all the other components.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 more big items to go. That Aghanim's on the Witch Doctor, and we didn't mention it, but the Solar Crest on the Dazzle. Huge item pickup there. Gives the Slark some more survivability if need be, and also can limit the damage output of one of these right clickers. So feels like the beginning of the end here for Hot6 in game #1. Remember, this is a best-of-3 series, folks, and we are in the upper bracket. No one getting eliminated off this series, but we'll see a dive onto MP. Pops the BKB, but Abyssal rains from the skies. QO taking a lot of damage, will fall. He just the Immortal bringing him back up, but on the backside, Lesh doing huge damage. Jules just barely keeps him alive after a beautiful Shallow Grave. Now 4F BKB, but stuck outside of the base, getting bashed up plenty. The Flash brothers are in town, forced after the high ground. That's his Invoker friend helping him out, but all of a sudden, it's a 5 versus 2, and there's nothing they can do but turn tail and run towards the well. In comes KP, he's trying to chase him down. Pulse Nova's running aplenty. MP moves into the tree line, won't be able to fog it, and their entire team about to end up in the grave. Drow will just barely live. I think we could be in GG territory here, Basekip.
Yeah, well, Phoenix are diving past a tier 2 into the well at this stage of the game, so I don't know.
It's pretty telling.
Yeah, that is very telling of the state of the game right now, and they've still just got all of that support sustained. They've got, well, not a whole lot of mana left on Nuts for the Voodoo Restoration, but earn charges aplenty, and the Dazzle heal topping everyone off. And I mean, we talked about it in the draft. This is just the style of Dota that MVP Phoenix loves to run. QO on something that can dive, and the support's just, well, making sure that he stays alive at the very least. But
yeah, they've got another tier 2 tower to chew through here. They'll just rotate down bottom and 2 lanes of barracks up. It's pretty even game for most of it, but boy did they take over once we got past the mid game.
I think even yeah, definitely hard game. I think the most interesting thing to look at on that graph is not even necessarily how big the lead is right now, but how relatively small the lead was for Hot6 when they were actually ahead. They never broke more than 5k net worth, and as much as there was a whole lot of fighting in the early game, Phoenix actually did surprisingly well with the item decisions that they made. You have to keep in mind that the Slark was fighting with a Midas. You have to keep in mind that the Spirit Breaker was going for a Midas early on as well. And even with that, Hot6 weren't able to take the fights in a one-sided enough manner that they could make full use of the Drow Ranger strategy and just knock down all of the outer towers very quickly and build up a huge gold lead. So
yeah, most certainly.
Yeah, during the draft we said Phoenix probably a little bit better in terms of individual play, and I feel like that's really what's kept them in this game and helped kept it even while they just waited for those farming tools to really kick in. And
certainly agreed.
And like the support play from Nuts and Febby has just been ridiculous. I think Febby is still yet to die, and he probably isn't going to now that he's got a Solar Crest.
0 and 18. He's also picked up a Crimson Guard, mind you. Not an item you get to see on Dazzle too often. Like the luxury of all luxury items, I'd say. And very telling of his performance so far. Doing my Dazzle proud.
All right, so Phoenix coming in for bottom lane at the moment. Don't have the Aegis right now, but I don't think they're all that concerned.
No.
I mean, if they wanted to, they could back up and they could farm some more items. There's 3.6k gold on the Slark, so could even add the MKB to the inventory after the Abyssal Blade. Lash has also got quite a bit of gold stacked up right now, so he might be grabbing something. Though the other option is just to save for buyback, Boots of Travel straight in, and MVP Phoenix could end the game right here. But Roshan's only actually going to be up in about a minute's time, so it looks like relatively early respawn. And Phoenix could also look for that if they're feeling even the slightest bit worried that they might not win this game.
Yeah, Hot6 just hanging on here, doing what little they can. Slark will go the safe route. Picks up a BKB, a fresh one here at the 41-minute mark. So no extra damage. I guess feels like he doesn't really need it. But now he can just charge in, dive those tier 4s, get close to the well, and feel pretty safe against all those crowd controls. Feels like MVP Phoenix kind of just playing with their food a bit before they finish it. It appears they will indeed wait out this last Roshan.
BKB, that's not a very QO item, I feel, but you know, it's a trip to Seattle on the line one way or the other, like we were saying. So it looks like his team, maybe March is having a stern word with him, like, look, this is important, buddy. Let's make sure that we win this one. Again, I don't think this game is even remotely possible to throw, but Hot6 aren't GGing out. They're gonna continue to hold on to it.
Pretty insurmountable. MVP Phoenix wait for the Roche, and it seems they may not even go for it. The big boy's back, and here we go. The Hail Mary play from MVP Hot6. They move out of the base. QO jumps right on him, gets orchided, but hey, that's that new BKB debuted. Out comes the Abyssal Blade onto MP. Force Staff will buy him a little bit of time. He gets bashed and ends up on the low ground. Oh, how lucky for him. QO takes the shallow grave. That'll keep him alive as Lina is the first to fall. Death War from the other side of the trees from Nuts doing huge damage, and Hot6 say, we've had enough. 5-0 for the final fight. That will demoralize us into a GG. Nearly a 30k net worth lead for Phoenix as that game ends. And, well, as we talked about, pretty even as we got through that mid-game, but once the Dire pulled ahead, it just seemed like it was their game for the taking.
Definitely. And I don't know what to say for Hot6. I think giving away the Dazzle and the Witch Doctor proved to be a little bit of a mistake. They